Hello, my name is Anuska and welcome to my channel. So this week's video is all about finding the secret to an engaging speaking voice. And I'm going to share my top secret, which I don't think it's going to be what you expect me to say. So please do bear with me when I say it, and please do listen to the end because it will only really make sense when you watch the whole video. So what is this magical thing? That you have to see yourself as a musical instrument. Whether you're a singer or not, this is super, super important. And actually, even if you are a singer, I often find as a singer myself, and I've worked with hundreds of singers for many years, singers often use their voice very differently when they speak and when they sing. And the speaking voice is just the lowest part of the singing voice. So whether you identify with being a singer and being musical, it doesn't really matter because you are a musical instrument, whether you like it or not. So why not embrace it? And actually, when you do embrace it, when you really access the full potential of your speaking voice, your voice is so much more engaging. It's so much more interesting to listen to. And also from your perspective, it is going to feel and function so much better. And I will explain a bit more about that as we go through the video, because that's a really important point, because it's a win-win for everyone. So your voice holds a plethora of dynamic pitch and pace possibilities, but for many speakers, they barely scratch the surface with what is possible with their voice. And so I'd like to, first of all, explain more about this in terms of music and song, and then I'm going to give you some examples of how you can actually use this as a speaker and how this relates to the speaking voice. So if you think about your favorite song, preferably one that has a singer in it and it's not an instrumental. So think about your favorite song that has a singer in it. It's likely to have these three components that I'm going to talk about now, and these really bring the song alive, and they're going to vary as the song progresses. They're not going to stay static the whole time, and that's what keeps the song interesting. It's always moving forward. So the first one is pitch and melody, and I've kind of put them together because they're interlinked. So think about pitch with how high or low the song is. Is it up here or is it down here? And then the melody is what's the movement of those notes in the song. So for example, if I was to sing the beginning of Ain't No Sunshine, ain't no sunshine when he's gone. So there's about 5-ish notes in that first section, and the song ain't no sunshine when he's gone. The song kind of goes up, comes down, goes up. So there's that pitch movement, there's that melody movement in that song. That's just obviously the very opening section, just to demonstrate what I mean by pitch and melody. Then there's pace. So that is how fast or slow the song is. So I could sing it, ain't no sunshine when he's gone. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. So I could sing it slow, I could sing it fast. And then we have volume, so how loud or soft it is. So I could sing it very soft. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. Or ain't no sunshine when he's gone. So you can see, I'm just using a very simple example in a song to demonstrate this pitch, this melody, the pace and the volume. Now you have access to all of this as a speaker, and you want to access it as a speaker. Now, not to the extreme of singing a song, obviously, because people will think you're crazy, but you can start to bring more of those song elements into your speaking. And that's going to make your speaking so much more engaging. And this is because variety is the key. Variety is the spice of life, as they say, and variation is so important to an engaging voice. And as I mentioned, it's also healthier for the voice. Now, why is it healthier for the voice? So for many people, they speak with a very limited pitch movement. The voice is often very low. The dynamics are limited, the pace is limited. Often there's just a lot of limitation on the voice. When we speak like that over long periods of time and we never kind of come out of that place, we're putting a lot of load on the voice in one particular place. when we vary the pitch, when we vary the pace, when we vary the volume, we're shaking things up a little bit. And I like to use the analogy of carrying shopping. It would be akin to carrying all your shopping in one bag in one hand versus spreading it out maybe across 3 bags and spreading the load. So it's the same idea. If you speak in a very limited place in your voice over long periods of time, it's going to be tiring for your voice. Just before I get into this more, it's not about varying all of this for the sake of varying it. It's not just, okay, well, I'm just going to start speaking loudly just to speak loudly. You want it to make sense with what you're saying. So it adds value, it adds meaning to your words, it adds to the emotion, it adds to the feeling, it adds to how you connect with people. We're not just randomly talking slowly for the sake of it, or talking fast, or whatever it is. So just to bear that in mind, and then this is then really about connecting to your words and allowing your voice to really enhance your words. Now, before we start, I would suggest that you actually listen to a recording of your voice, bearing in mind that how you hear your voice is how no one else hears it, so it's not really that useful. You want to listen to a recording because that's how everyone is listening to you. And then we're going to go through these, so pitch and melody, pace and volume. And now, just to say, I've actually done videos on most of these independently, so I will put the links below if you want to actually go into more depth in any one particularly, but I'm going to talk briefly about these as they relate to finding more expression and engagement in your speaking voice. So as we mentioned, pitch and melody is kind of how high or low your voice is and how much kind of movement there is with that pitch. So when you listen to your voice, do you feel like you hear a very low voice? Is it down here quite a lot of the time? Or is it up here quite a lot of the time? Where would you say your voice kind of sits most of the time? On the lower end or on the higher end? So then when you listen to your voice, is there much movement? Or is it fairly what we call monotone? So you basically talk on one note and you sort of talk about your day like this, and you might occasionally go up, but then you come down again. So you come back to your kind of safety zone, which is the kind of the monotone place of the voice, and there's not that much movement. Now, again, we're not moving the voice for the sake of moving the voice. We're moving the voice to make sense and add meaning to what we're saying. And it's going to make people want to listen to you so much more, because the thing is, when we talk in a very monotone voice, people do switch off. And the reason they switch off is because they get used to how you sound. And because they're used to how you sound, they think they know what you're going to say. And when they think they know what you're going to say, they just stop listening. So you will find if your voice is very monotone, particularly when it's very low and it's down here and it's very monotone, you'll probably find that people may not listen to you as much as you would like. So one little exercise you can try is actually to practice deliberately moving your voice around. So moving your voice up and moving your voice down. So let's take the sentence, I love playing tennis. Now, first of all, perhaps say this in a very monotone way. I love playing tennis. So it's fairly flat. It sounds a bit dull. It's kind of flat. Doesn't really make anyone want to listen to me. I love playing tennis. Now, let's just try and deliberately add a little bit more movement into that. And maybe we can raise the pitch on the word love. I love playing tennis. I love playing tennis. Or even practice raising the pitch on the last word on tennis. I love playing tennis. I love playing tennis. Or you can practice raising the pitch on the first word, I love playing tennis. I love playing tennis. And just notice which one feels the most natural for you, which one feels like it makes the most sense with saying that sentence. So for me, it would probably be putting the emphasis on the word love. I love playing tennis. To me, that feels very natural, and that would be where I would choose to put that pitch rise on that sentence. And I would probably personally naturally raise my pitch on that word. But just play around with it, play around with different words and raise your pitch, because most people's pitch tends to be on the lower end and it tends to go down. And so we're pulling people down with us as our pitch goes down. So then number 2 is pace. and listen to the recording of listen to a recording of yourself speaking, and notice, do you speak on the faster end or the slower end? And based on the highest viewings of my videos, most people I think that watch my videos actually want to try and speak slower. So I will use that as my example because that seems to be the most popular video I've actually done. So can you now try and deliberately slow down your pace of your voice? And just a couple of things to note. When we slow down our voice, it can actually really draw people in. And then when we speed up, we can use it to kind of generate some excitement, some passion, and to get people really inspired with what we're saying. So again, we can use the pace to add to our words versus we just have a default, we always talk slowly or we always talk fast. So taking that example of I love playing tennis, if you slow down that word, and again, you can practice this and you can start to add all the components. So you can add the pitch in that we did a second ago as you slow this down. So if I was to say this, slowing it down, I love playing tennis. I love playing tennis. Versus if I was to say, I love playing tennis. It's got a very different feeling to it than when I slow it down. I love playing tennis. You know, you can feel I mean, I don't even particularly love playing tennis, but I don't mind. But it's, you know, you can feel it in my voice versus if I just say I love playing tennis, you know. So we can really use this to add to the emotion and the feeling in our words. Now, if you're the other way around and you feel like you talk really slow, speed it up. I love playing tennis. I love playing tennis. You know, speed it up and see what it does. See what it does to your body, how you feel emotionally, what it kind of draws from you, because that is the whole point of all of this, is to add to the emotion and the feeling in what we're saying, which is ultimately what people are connecting to anyway. And then number 3 is volume. And again, I find that most people have just a default volume, unless they're in a room and they've got to present to a large group of people, in which case they'll often yell or shout to try and be heard. Most people just have one volume for everything. And again, there's so much more to our voice than just one volume. And again, as I said, it's going to be healthier for your voice if you can vary your volume. So notice, are you someone that talks loud all the time? Or are you someone that talks on the quieter end all the time? And see if you can vary it. So quieter volume we might use for more sensitive conversations, if we're sharing something more vulnerable and we want to kind of draw people in so they trust us and they want to listen to us. The louder volume we might use to kind of generate some excitement and some buzz, to get people to feel inspired and motivated by us. I mean, you just watch motivational speakers, they always have very loud voices. So there's something about that generates that excitement. But again, we want to be able to use it like a painter can choose their paints. You know, I can paint with the quieter volume or I can paint with the louder volume. It's not, I just have to paint with this or that. So again, taking the sentence, I love playing tennis, play around with that. I love playing tennis. I love playing tennis, you know, on the quieter end. Or I love playing tennis, you know, and just play around with the volume. And you'll notice that when you start to do this, the pitch will come in, the pace will come in, and you can really combine all three to actually enhance your words, which is the whole point of this. So I hope that that's helped. So go through all of this, record your voice, listen back, listen to a song that you love, listen to the melody of the song, and just start to see if you can bring some elements of that into your speaking, and notice then how much more people want to engage with listening to you, but also how much better it feels for you as the speaker, because that is super important, particularly if you're someone that speaks for hours every day. So thank you so much. If you want to find out more about my work, I work privately with people. I'll put the link below if you're interested in doing this privately, because it does take time. You've got to really have an ear for what you're listening for. Sometimes it can be difficult to hear it in yourself. I also have an online course called Empowered Speaking Online, if you would prefer to do something at your own pace, and a much cheaper option as well. So I will put the links below. But if not, if you enjoyed this video, if you have any comments, please comment below. But if you enjoyed it, please do like, share and subscribe. But if not, I will see you on my next video next week. Thank you so much for watching.